Hey guys, what is up? Fluffy Ninja from War Crew Paintball and War Sport Chicagoland here with another episode of the Weekend Loadout. If you don't know what the show is, I take one of my paintball markers and I show you a setup that I'm going to use for a weekend to play. Again, it's not really my marker, but this is a Planet Eclipse LV1. To be more specific, this is what we call the Horror LV1. This LV1 has been passed around Warp Crew a number of times. At least 6 or 7 members of Warp Crew have owned this specific LV1, and it's been shooting ever since. I think first it was Art, then it was me, then it was back to Art, then it was me, then it was Taylor, Corey, Dave, and like just everybody basically on Warp Crew has owned this marker, and it's shot phenomenal the entire time that we've had it. It's been beat up, it's been run down, it's been run to the ground. Never had an actual barrel. This is actually the stock barrel from the MG100, and I was like, oh, you know what, yeah, I'll just throw it on there. It matches, it's black, so that's fine. Somehow it got orange grips and a blackout kit. I don't actually know how that happened, but that happened. So I'm going to be trying to get some black grips and then just the regular stainless steel screws for it, because while yeah, the blackout kits or the colored screws are nice, they're not stainless. Like they get rusted very easily. That was a problem that I think we had with Art's LV1, is that the screws like eventually got stripped because they weren't good quality screws. I think he had pink ones in his or whatever. But yeah, so Planet Eclipse LV1, we've got a Spire IR on top with a speed feed. Yeah, really like the Spire IR. It's a really good loader for the price. Like compared like this and then the LTR from Dye is actually like, they're both very comparable markers. Like if you wanted a Spire, like this is a really good like entry level Spire, and it of course the classic Spire look just always looks really nice. And then of course we have my 77 First Strike tank with my Immortal Air rag on there. This is just going to be an absolutely amazing combination. This is going to be just hosing people with paint. Hopefully at the Purge game coming up at Blast Camp. If you don't know what the Purge game is, it is a bring your own paint game that Blast Camp is hosting. Super excited that there is a field that is willing to do at least a bring your own paint game. I feel like some fields should be trying to do that more, rather than just, oh, you have to buy our shit paint and it'll ruin your day because you had to buy our paint and it's horrible, we kept it bad, and sucks to be you already paid entry, we don't really give a shit. But yeah, bring your own paint game is super nice. Especially when you're in a position that we are. So at NXL Chicago, we got to pit for Seattle Thunder, which means that we get to bring like professional grade paint to something like this, so people don't actually get to cheat against us. Oh, it bounced. No, it didn't, because it's for the last couple of years it was GI 5-star. We actually still have 2 cases of that left from last year, and we keep our paint in very good, like an air-conditioned room. Like this room, basically the air conditioner is just off right now because it's actually kind of nice outside. We rotate it like weekly. Like we keep very good care of it. We make sure that it's not like all just sitting on one side or being stacked up or whatever. So we keep very good care of our paint. We have some HK premium tournament grade paint. It actually shoots really nice. Like getting to shoot out of the shockers in NXL was really nice. So I know that like whatever gun that we put it in is gonna be even, like it's gonna be fine. Especially having like a month or 2 of like, I guess a hardening, because when it comes to tournaments, it's like literally made that week, and it has like maybe 72 hours of cooling or whatever before like teams take it and throw it in their guns. So it's actually really cool that we get to have it like maybe a month or so later, but it's actually like still really good paint. It still breaks amazing. Like we're on the 2nd floor of our condo, so we just kind of toss it, and when it hits like the parking lot though, it literally just fucking explodes. Like it's like poof, and it's just giant streaks of yellow. And, like, our neighbors get kind of mad, but then it washes away in the rain. It's like, what were you mad about again? Oh, yeah, nothing, because now it's gone. Because paintballers, while we are assholes tossing paint, like, we make sure to not hit any cars, obviously. But, like, yeah, while we're assholes tossing it off the balcony, making sure it still breaks, it washes away the next day when it rains. Or even with, like, the morning, like, kind of dew or whatever, like, it still washes away, and, like, everybody just kind of forgets that we did that. So it was really cool. But yeah, it shoots really good. And then we've got, like, assorted other paints from other games, and we're like, fuck it, we'll take it home, whatever. You know, we've got, like, some, I believe we have some graffiti, we've got some GI, like, 2-star, stuff like that. You know, like, there's a list of banned paints, which, obviously, there should be some banned paints, like red fill. I don't think is good for any field. I mean, I know Health Survivors does red fill, and they're like, well, it looks cool. Yeah, but it's you know, it's still not something that I think you should promote in paintball. It's like, oh, look, it looks like I shot that guy. It's like, yeah, but that's not what paintball is about. And spreading that, you know, kind of bad image of paintball is really bad for the sport. One paint that I don't agree with that they ban is called Infinity. It's from Vulcan. It's probably the best cheap paint that I've ever shot. Like, I think we took almost a skid of it when Fort Knox was still bring your own paint. We shot all of it and, like, never had a problem all day. Like, no guns breaking it in barrels or in breaches. It was super consistent size-wise all day. You know, like, that by far is still one of my favorite paints. And the fact that almost every field has banned it because it leaves a black residue after it dries is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. You know, oh, it makes our paintball field look bad. You're a paintball field, dude. Like, what? Like, that's been every field's excuse, is that, well, it makes our bunkers look bad. Okay, but you're a paintball field. Okay, when I run into one of your buildings and I lean up against the wall for like half a second, my entire arm comes away covered in shit, that's a bad look for your field. But when a paint hits, dries, and hardens into a black residue, and that's it, that you can literally hose off, like you might need a pressure washer, like, that's a horrible excuse. But when your building is covered in paint and, like, weeks later, like, you're still leaning up against it and just covered in shit, like, that's a bad look for your field. But, like, a hard black residue that, like I've shot it at bunkers, or, like, just, like, test pieces when I used to live at home. I shot it at, like, a plank of wood, left it there for a month, went back, scratched at it, it came off totally fine. I sprayed it with a hose, and it, you know, it kind of softened up, and then I sprayed it again, and it fell off. You know, I sprayed it with a pressure washer, it came off right away. Like, I never had a problem with cleaning it up, so I don't understand what fields are really talking about when they're like, oh, it's bad for our field, it's bad for the environment. It's really not. It still, like, degrades when you put it on the ground. Like, if it gets rained on, like, you know, if you simulate it where it's like, I put it on the ground and I watered it, you know, 2-3 times, you know, across a few days, and it literally just disappeared. And I was like, okay, well, clearly it's still biodegradable. I don't understand what fields are having a problem with it with, but, you know, whatever. It's still one of my favorite paints, and I think that, like, if Vulcan changed the recipe, made it a little bit more expensive so that way more people could use it, then I think that would be okay. But I don't understand the reasoning or the science behind banning the most cost-effective, good paint. Like, I forget what the paint is from GI, but they said that it has a similar effect, and no, it doesn't. It's like the GI field paint, or the GI, like, you know, like, it's 1 star in a different box, and people are like, oh no, we can't have that paint. Why? Well, it could be hard and it could hurt people. It's like, no, that's just, it's regular paint. If you keep it well, it's gonna break. If you don't keep it well, yeah, it's gonna hurt people, but whatever. Like, we have some of that here. It's the GI 2-star from, I want to say Sherwood, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it's 2-star. But, like, they're super hard. Like, it's hard as a rock. You know, like even with us rotating and stuff like that, toss it out the 2-story balcony and it bounces. Like that's just paint. That's just that paint and how it, you know, matures. I guess it just turns into a rock. You know, so we probably won't be using that. Like that's already set off to the side for when either A, we just throw it away, or B, when people piss us off and it's like, well, he's not going to get out when it breaks on him. Let's see if he gets out when he gets, you know, fucking annihilated by rocks. So that's that's kind of what that paint's for. But you know, like that's just how paintballs are. That's what happens to paintballs over time, is that they get harder and then they don't break. If you don't keep them correctly, that's what happens. So yeah, I don't really know what the deal is with people being like, oh no, you can't have this paint because it's bad, or you can't have this paint because it leaves a residue. You own a fucking paintball field. Like, you have people literally pay to come and just shoot paint all over your field. Like, who the fuck cares what residue it leaves? I still don't understand it. I've been asking fields, and I've been asking, you know, stores about it, like whoever I can talk to about it, like, oh, how do you feel about Infinity? They're like, oh, it's a great paint, but it leaves a residue. And I'm like, okay, why do you care if it leaves a residue? And they have yet to come up with an actual explanation that I can't just be like, well, you're a paintball field, so, like, there's no actual answer. Oh, well, it's cheap paint, so it's going to hurt people. Really? Because I've shot it, like, 2 months after I've bought it, and it still breaks amazing. You know, like, I've been shot by it 2 months after somebody's had it, and I was like, oh, wow, that broke on my elbow pad. What the fuck? You know, like, it's good paint. I don't understand the stigma behind, oh, well, it's a cheaper case of paint, so we're not going to allow it. That doesn't make any sense. That's literally stopping people from playing paintball because this is all they could afford, and then you're not going to allow it at your field. I don't understand it, but, you know, when I finally get the chance to own a field, that paint will be my field paint. End of story. I don't care. Like, I'll go out there with a fucking paint scraper and scrape it off of bunkers if I have to. But that paint is by far one of the best paints I've ever shot for the price. So the fact that fields are banning it is just asinine, I think. I mean, who knows? But thank you guys very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.